Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a quick recap of the new makeup that I have bought recently. So if that sounds good to you, then stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please do so. I'm trying to just make my group of people who care about makeup and beauty things grow and be able to talk to more people about it, because in my regular life, I don't have a lot of makeup lovers. Do I have any? Not really. So it would be so nice to make some internet makeup friends. So if you want to join me, then please do. And let's go ahead and get into it. So if you are new, you might not know, I don't buy a lot of makeup. I'm not going to have monthly haul videos. I hope not. I hope I don't get to that point. At one point, I was definitely buying a lot more makeup than I do now, but definitely slowed things down. And now I'm just buying things as I need to replace them or fill a need. So, well, a want. I know makeup isn't a need, but maybe it's kind of a need for my mental health, you know? So it brings me joy. And I guess if I go in order of things that I brought in, then that would have to be the Sephora order I did. So this was, if I wanted to, I could go look and see when it actually was, but I don't know, was it like for President's Day maybe that there was a sale? There happened to be a sale and they happened to remind me, as you know they do, and it's like, oh, you had interest in this product and it's now on sale for this price, don't you want it? And they did something like that. And normally I would just delete it and move on, because you know, it's one of those, like, maybe just because it's on sale doesn't necessarily mean that I have to buy it. And I think it was actually just this particular thing. And then the other thing was more of a second kind of thought. But I did have a gift card from the winter, and it's like, you know what? Actually, no, was it even? No, it wasn't from the winter. It was from the previous summer, and I hadn't used it yet. Usually I've ended up using my Sephora gift cards when I get them on stuff actually for my husband, because a lot of times I've been trying to buy him, I'm still trying to find him the ideal sunscreen for his face and all. He goes running every day and he gets like these really funny tan lines with his glasses, and you know, just anyway, it's good to get the sun protection. So he can't use the same ones that I do, because mine, they have quite a white cast on them, which is fine for me, but not for him. So I'm constantly trying to find, you know, and I found some that were good, and then they always discontinue them. But anyway, I've ended up using a lot of times my gift cards and things like that. And usually I buy more of my makeup from Ulta or Target or indie stores. So this particular thing, it was a pairing, I forget how they called it. It was from Danessa Myricks, and it's one of the Colorfix foils. And so it's not just like, because the matte shadows and all that they have, like just cream colors, that doesn't interest me. I like sparkly things. And so this was one of the sparkly ones. And then this was one of the Chrome Flakes, Infinite Chrome Flakes in confetti. So also like an iridescent, I will swatch them. So let's see. So the Chrome Flakes. But yeah, they were sold as a pair, and basically I was, with the sale, I was able to get the two of them for less than the price of one of these, or, and I couldn't get over, I was like, wait, they're both full-size products, and yeah, you don't get to pick, which normally I'd be like, well, you don't get to pick what you're getting, but sometimes for me, it's hard to make those decisions. You've got all these different sparkly options, I don't know which one I want, and so then I just don't pick any, and it's like, well, this one, the Colorfix is a pinky, shimmery thing. So I'm gonna put that here, and the Chrome Flakes are here, and let me make sure we get. So again, this was the Colorfix, and this is the Chrome Flakes. And can I zoom? So I'm kind of getting my Chrome Flakes, I feel like all over. But you can kind of see, this is more of a piecey kind of texture. This is more just an all over kind of shiny product. And I feel like that really is kind of how it ends up working. And they're already, like, this one's already feeling like it's stuck on, it dries pretty fast. And this one also, it's like, you know, they dry down. So I don't have to worry about, let me just get this back to normal. There we go. I don't have to worry about creasing for them on my eyelids. I found that I like using the Chrome Flakes sometimes when I'm doing, you know, a matte shadow look and maybe the shadows are getting a little patchy, and I'll just pat some of this on and it ends up, you know, you're distracted by the shiny and so you don't see the patchiness that I was having. And also it doesn't matter that, you know, this product itself is patchy. I guess you could probably get it to go on more like a solid layer, but I feel like then it would look more like scales on your eyes, so not so good for that. The other one is, the Color Fix is more of a, like, you just want a lot of, like, you could, it's a little harder to get it more spread out sparkle because it's so packed in there. So this is more of a, just, you want a shimmer, like, you know, like something like this, like a solid shimmery look, then this would be a good product for that. And I do like that it's light, because sometimes if I've put on, you know, some sort of other shimmery product and it's either not sparkly enough or just not quite light enough, I can add this, and it is more on the cool side, so it just sort of seems brighter almost than some of the more like gold tone type of shimmers like that. And yeah, it does brighten things, and I like that. If I want to have more of a warmer tone thing, then I'll just take like a gold eyeshadow that's really shiny and kind of put that on instead on top. But yeah, this, you definitely don't need a lot, and it's probably gonna last a while. I feel like, you know, it does seal up well. I mean, it's liquid, so there's that. It says it's a 12-month shelf life. Does the other one? Oh gosh. It's 12 months, but it is very small print. I'm pretty sure it says 12. I feel like I need to get reading glasses out for that, but you know, just trust me that I believe they're both 12 month. And so, you know, I don't know, I guess like next year I could report back after a year. It's just Steph. I want to make sure I'm getting that right. There's two Stephs that I follow on YouTube, and so I'm like, sometimes I feel like I get their names mixed up or combined. So I think hers is just Steph, but she goes back and reviews makeup and all that she's bought from a year ago, and it's kind of like, you know, do I still have it? Do I love it? You know, was it a good buy? So, you know, we'll see how it's doing in a year. Was it actually only a year? But, you know, and also, do I feel like I got enough uses in that year that if it does expire, like, that it was worth it? But I can say it's been fun. And it's one of those, like, part of the reason I got this was a gift card. It's a gift, so it should be something that's fun. And I'm like, you know what? This is stuff that I like, or I think I would like, but I'm not going to buy it for myself because it doesn't feel like I have to have it. But I'm very happy to have it. So a good gift. And then I think, I'm trying to remember what made me add something else, because you get free shipping regardless. I don't know, maybe I just happened to see it, but I'd heard a lot of good things about the Melt Gel Liner pots, and I've used it a bunch. You can't really tell because even though it's got like a lot that's been dug in, I'm trying to, how do I get this? All right, I'm gonna have to put in some footage, so I will figure that out. But you don't need a lot, and it does go on really creamy. I mean, I just barely tucked my finger in, and you know, I get like a nice, and it's definitely a very neutral brown. I would say just straight neutral. Like, you could argue that it is maybe a little bit cool toned, but I feel like there's also still a little bit of warmth, like sort of in there. So neutral would be a good descriptor for it. And I mean, it's already dry on my finger, and now I'm like, I'm gonna have to try to get this off my arm so I don't look silly later, but you know, it's fine. So this was half off, so I believe it was $11, and definitely worth it for $11. I will say that, that's already, okay. Normally when I've used it and my eyes are watery, it stays on. But I will say that it did actually come off today. So I'm not sure what, yeah, there's definitely a gap that I need to fill in. So I'm not sure what I did differently and why it didn't work as well today. I also feel like my lighting, I need to fix this, so hold on. Okay, I think this lighting should be a little bit better, different angle here. So now we'll continue. So just to go over, I think that both of those purchases were great. The gel liner has been helpful. It's just something different because part of the reason I like that it was brown, because normally all of my liquid liners that I use are black, and it's a nice, very pigmented color. I can just swipe it on, it goes on easily, and normally it stays. I did touch up, so. And I'll go ahead with my next purchase. Just looking through. Actually, no, my next purchase was actually, I'm gonna put all those at one time. So my next purchase was this concealer from e.l.f. It's an eye brightener, the Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. And it's, I think the shade was Fair, but yes, in the shade Fair. You can see I've actually hit pan already. So you could say from that standpoint, I mean, but I have just been kind of going in the middle. It's probably gonna still take a little while to use it up, but the shelf life I think is 12 months. Yes, it's 12 months. I think that I will probably use it up within 12 months. I use it every day. I use it under my eyes and, you know, into the corner a bit. And I do think it's doing a good job. I actually like that it's really creamy and just, I don't know, almost greasy, because just under the eyes can get dry. And I mean, it is still a little bit greasy, so I put regular concealer on top. I don't necessarily need it from the color standpoint to help with that, because it's not super pigmented with the color. It is, you know, I think a good kind of like skin color correcting. It's not just like some super bright orange when I am pale. And then, I mean, I know they have different shades. I don't know how the others work for different skin tones, but for me, I feel like this is good. And then I use the other concealer more just to help it not make things slide around too much or look super greasy by the end of the day. So although I do feel like, well, today I had a lot of eye watering going on. It's just that time. It's always that time of the year for me. But yeah, good purchase I think so far. I want to say that it was around $6. We'll see if it actually, I don't need it to last a year for me to feel like it's a good value. I feel like if it's maybe in the 6 to 9 month range, I might be okay with that. I often don't use up concealers, and I'm kind of okay if I use it up before it goes bad, versus I feel like other concealers I often have to throw out before I've used them up because they start to turn on me. So, you know, maybe I could even just get away with just using that and then setting with some powder. But for now, I have concealers to set with, so we'll see. All right, another e.l.f. purchase was the Lash Extender Mascara. And so here's the one. This is their tubing mascara, which I pretty much only wear tubing mascaras. I didn't start wearing mascara until, I don't know, I started wearing it maybe when I was pregnant with my second, I feel like. And so it wasn't that long ago, I don't know, somewhere, so probably like 6-7 years ago, something like that. But might have been when I was starting to, I gotten like, I think some different ones, maybe it was a little bit before then. But I wasn't, I thought I liked it, and then it felt like it was making my eyelashes short and like not doing good things, so I stopped wearing it. I just didn't do any. And then I discovered tubing mascara, and I've been doing that. I thought I liked this one as much as the normal one I've been buying, which is from No. 7. And maybe I was just I was going into the hype because everyone else is liking it. I have it on today, and it's okay, but I just feel like it's a little too dry. And it doesn't do as much as I want it to. I feel like I might go back to my No. 7 after this and then, you know, kind of see again. But yeah, that's kind of how my thoughts are right now, that it's like, it's okay. And it is technically cheaper than the No. 7 one, but not by that much, because I feel like this was $7 and the No. 7 is like 9 or 10. I think maybe rather pay that extra little bit. So right, now I'm going to talk about the eyeshadows that I have bought. So the first eyeshadow palette that I bought for myself in years was from, let me just take this thing out. Blend Bunny is the Dollhouse palette. I've talked about it a lot on my channel, so if you are a regular on my channel, then you might be like, I know, it's the Dollhouse palette. Okay. You can see it's, well, you can say that it's been well loved, but I will also say the packaging is the type that kind of shows all the stuff on it. So there's that. I don't know, you can, I guess, see that I have used all of the shades. Like there's, you know, brush marks and whatnot in all of them. But, you know, it's not going to look, no, there's no like, there's some dips in the shimmers just because they're a little bit more, what do I want to say? Just like squishy a little bit, some of them. They go fine on the eyes. I haven't had any creasing problems. But the mattes, I don't really need that much of them for it to work. You know, I don't need to like, it is a buildable formula, but it's not like when people are like, oh, you know, it's buildable. It's not lightly pigmented. It's just sort of a normal kind of pigment level that allows you though to build it up. So, you know, I will say that like the darkest shades here, they look a lot darker than they first go on, but you can get it, you know, close to that or maybe at that. Yeah, I guess you could get it at those though. I just don't usually do that unless I'm doing it as like a liner. But yeah, so, you know, it might take a bit. And what's also interesting though is that these shades I thought were a lot more pastel. I'm sorry, you couldn't see that. These shades, this row here, I thought were a lot more pastel, and then I started using some other brushes, spoiler, and they look a lot more like they do in the pan right off the bat when I use those. So there is that. But yeah, I have been happy with this purchase. I think I got it for, with shipping, maybe it was roughly like $40 or so, something like that. And I feel like it was a good purchase because I like the way it's set up. The quality is good. I like these. This is my kind of neutral palette. And again, if you're new to my channel, I'm not a big neutral person. I do have some neutral palettes, but those were just getting old, and I'm like, well, I want to be able to still have neutrals, and I like working these in with the colors. So like if I'm doing a purple look, I could still come in and use these more neutrally kinds of purples to help blend out or, you know, do things like that. So, you know, that's nice. And I feel like it's an all year long kind of palette. It doesn't make me think, you know, one particular season only. But yeah, so I am definitely happy with this purchase. So 5-star review for me for that. Other eyeshadow purchase that I made, they're kind of all scattered here. So it was from Sydney Grace. I've bought from them before, one other time. And that one I just picked some singles, and they had a deal where they gave some mystery singles then as well. So I have those. And then they were doing a thing now where you bought this huge palette of singles that they put in, and most of them don't have names. There was one and then a random one that they gave me as a freebie, because they gave like, this is 52 shadows that are in here, or were in here, and then another 2 freebies. And I got it for, again, I had a discount, and then there's shipping. I don't know, was it 50-ish? Maybe like 50-ish, like, you know, like basically like $1 per shadow. And so some of them they're almost dupes of each other, that they're all very similar neutral tones, but, you know, it's fine, like, you know, because instead of thinking of it as $1 per shadow, it's more like, well, if I count up the shadows that I'm really excited about, you know, and then think about the cost, like it was still a good price. Because I was getting rid of my Persona Identity palette, you know, like I'm like, that's going to be gone soon because it's getting old. So what am I going to use in place of it? And I noticed that there were a lot of shadows that looked like they would be good. And so there you go. Also, some of the colors were from the Fancy Face Tina, her collab with them. They had like some of her extras. I'm like, ooh, if I get those, because the ones that they were showing were some of the ones I'd been most intrigued by in her palette. So that was fun. So this is what is left right now in my palette because I've been using them in other palettes, which is what I wanted to do. All right, so the ones that are currently in here have not, let's see. Yeah, I think the ones in here I'm still working on getting uses on. I don't think I've really, yeah, these are basically, some of them have been touched and used, but not all of them. But then these have been getting good use, okay? And then I also have, okay, so this palette, actually all of them, fell onto my carpet, and this one shade that I was trying to finish up anyway, I lost a good chunk of it, and it kind of went everywhere on the other shades. So if you're like, oh, look at that one being almost empty here, yeah, that was kind of a casualty. But like I said, it's an old one, and I have other shadows that are similar or better, so it's fine. Yeah, sorry about they're just all like mixing in. All right, but this little section here, so these 12 shades, okay, those were the ones that I made as, maybe I could just do it like this. I'm just trying to blind you with the mirror, so I do that. There we go. So these 12 here were meant to be my new like Persona Identity palette. So those were all the Sydney Grace shades. They were like new ones then for me. So those have been used a good bit as well. And again, they are a good quality, just like I remembered from because I had mattes and shimmers from them before, and it's the same kind of quality. Some of them are like, I go to use them and they're just shinier than I would even expect, or just like a little bit different. Where it's like, oh, like it catches me off guard. This one, yes, this gold. So I'm not a gold shimmer kind of girl normally, but this gold here, I have used it more times than I realized. So just kind of show on my finger, and then if I do a little swatch, you can still see my eyeliner stain, but I guess it's kind of hard to show. But basically, I don't know, there's something about it that's like, it's just so kind of bright on the eyes. And yeah, I mean, it's not sparkly, but it's shiny. And was it, oh no, and I'm trying to think. There was one I used, see, look, now I can't find it. There was one I used that I was like, wow, that's actually sparkly. Was it this one? I'm just gonna swatch all of them apparently. It might have been the one in my little Identity palette knockoff, or maybe one of those actually. Might be this one that's on my pinky. Let me see. Oh, and I got some of the green in with it. I think it might have been this one. And again, it's kind of hard to maybe see or realize. I don't even know. Am I focused? Not particularly. Oh, a little bit there. So you can see how bright the gold one is. But this one, it's hard to say, but maybe if you just like look at my pinky, all right, it ended up being so actually like sparkly on my eyes, which I wasn't really expecting from a Sydney Grace shadow. Like they have that shine a lot of times, but to be actually like looking a little sparkly, I was like, oh, okay, all right, I like that. So it definitely, like in the wear time has been fine. So yeah, I'm happy to have those because now I can travel with like my own little curated neutral palette, you know, or neutrals in fun colors and kind of mix around. So I am definitely going into more of like singles route versus palettes, or if I was to get palettes, maybe more ones that have magnetic pans. The only thing is that like I would kind of like another Blend Bunny palette in the future, like one of the colorful ones, but those are not magnetic. So I'm like, oh, I don't know, kind of torn, but that's not for me this year, so it's fine. All right, final purchase of this year were some eyeshadow brushes. Some of them are newer than others, but I will put them all in. Well, okay, so I don't know why I shouldn't have brought this one over. This one technically, this is from NYX. This one is not actually from this year, but it is one of my newer ones, and I'm just putting it out because I got this one because of an Anastasia Beverly Hills ABH palette brush. I liked the blending side of the brush that they have, and it's like this one. In fact, the reviews were complaining about how scratchy that one was, which was why I was like, oh, I want to have that because I think I like scratchier ones. So this one from Sonia Kashuk is a new one for me this year. And it's definitely, you know, like the next one, it's a good blending one. They are more affordable than even the next one, because the next one's like $10 and this was, I'm trying to think, because this one's another Sonia Kashuk one that I got, a different kind of purpose. I use it with my shimmers and also like outer corner mattes. It's a small eyeshadow brush, it says. This one I think was $6, and this one I know was more. The black ones were more than these, I believe. So maybe it was like $7, something like that. I don't know. Definitely under $10, and I feel like definitely worth that price, and they've been holding up well. I wash them all the time. Like some people complain for the gold ones that the stuff came off, and maybe it will at some point, but I've washed it so many times and it's been fine. So I'm sure at some point it will, but it's been doing me fine. And I have 2 of these because I had the one, I've liked it so much I wanted a second one, which that doesn't usually happen for me to go and buy another brush. So these Rephr brushes, the Rephr ones, it's like I've been seeing them for years. People talk about them and it's like, are they really that good? I also am a little bit, the whole natural hair thing kind of weirds me out a little bit, so I can't think about it too much. Or it was at least a little better that it wasn't like I was picking for, like when I looked at the Sonia G brushes, as people talked about that and they're talking about like the different kinds of hair and all, and I'm like, I can't do that. That's too much for me. This is like, all right, they're natural hair, they're from a goat. Okay, I could see how you could get hair from a goat and it wouldn't hurt the goat and it could be okay, and all right, fine, you know. Like there's sort of a domesticated animal versus like, you know, squirrels or something and the other random ones, and it's like, no thanks. So Bad to the Brow, Millie, and then Tina, the Fancy Face, they had both talked about the Rephr brushes, and Millie had in particular talked about the mini ones, and she's compared them with the regular and the maxi ones. Are they called maxi? It's just max? I don't know. But Tina happened to, when I'd asked about eye brushes for small hooded eyes and all that, you know, what she would recommend, she said the Rephr ones and that they were having a sale at the time. So I looked, and sure enough, it was half off for this set. And so it was $60 for the 5 of them, which, you know, that's not really that much more than what I paid for like my NYX one and things like that. And I'm like, all right, I'll give them a try because that's probably as good of a price as I'm going to find. And they came quickly, they were packaged fine, all that stuff. I have used them every day. I have washed them multiple times. The hairs definitely stick out a bit more since being washed, and we'll see how it goes, I guess, even further over time. I find uses for all of them because like the flat ones are good for like my shimmers. I've got the smaller one, the bigger one. What's also interesting is that, because sometimes it's like, well, I only have one of each. For whatever reason, more than my synthetic ones, I find that if I'm using these, and then like once I've used it, the eyeshadow doesn't necessarily stay on. Like I can kind of like, it's like, it's already gone. I could use it for a different color. They do get like, they can get a little bit stained, and like there is a little bit of that, but like this one, like it, like I see color like on there, but it's not like coming off. And so I could use the same brush with multiple shades and it's fine. Yeah, like even this dark one, like, you know, and if I wash them, like they look white. But yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, like that's kind of cool that it's not like, oh, I have this one set, I have to wash them constantly because I want to keep using different colors. The blending ones, like it's like I've got the larger one, the medium one, the small one, and it really does, like the large one is as large as I would really want to go for like doing my blend. And yeah, I don't have any complaints. I like this small one for like my inner corner, but also just like smaller blending and things like that. So yeah, so far, so good. I can't say if I'd recommend them for like their normal full price because that's just a lot of money for me. You know, it's just one of those times when it's like, yeah, I bought it on sale, but I'm hoping I don't have to like rebuy them. And if I ever did, it would probably be like to wait for a sale, even if it's not as good a sale. I could potentially see, you know, especially like how are they going to hold up over time? So, you know, again, I'll have to kind of report back in a year or longer, you know, and it's like, are they still holding up, you know, just fine? Then yeah, maybe I would consider paying, I don't know, would I pay 15 to 20? Well, I guess that's kind of what would I pay like 20 for a brush? Maybe. I'd have to think about it at that time. But for the price I paid, yes, I think they do actually maybe a better job. Like I mentioned in my Dollhouse palette, I feel like I actually get a little better color payoff with these than my synthetic ones. And I don't know, the quality of the blending, it is pretty good. Is it that much higher than the synthetic? In some ways, yes, but it's also because these shapes are just ones that I haven't been able to find at like the drugstore type of thing. So, you know, some of it's this shape, and so maybe if you could find these shapes with like other companies, like I also had looked at the Blend Bunny ones, but you know, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and try these. Like it's been hyped for a long time. Maybe I'll buy the Blend Bunny ones in the future if I need more brushes, because I've heard those can be good too. So we'll see. But all this to sum up, I think that my purchases have been good. Some are a little bit more fun, some are a little bit more practical, and overall, I felt like I went a little bit wild recently with having the eyeshadows and like the brushes and no, but I put the brakes on again and I'm not planning on buying anything. So you've heard it here. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, then please do that. And I've got to go make some chocolate chip cookie dough. So I'm gonna go, but until the next video, I will see you then. I hope you're doing well. Bye.